Is this thing on? Oh, there we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Hokago Talk Time. The show, the Patreon show, that is. Excuse me. My throat's not that great today. So I don't know how long this one's going to be, but I'll do my best to give you guys the content that you guys signed up for. Because this is the Patreon podcast where you lovely supporting patrons, regardless of how much money you pay, get to exclusively listen to on an unscripted basis. I don't really have a time frame for these episodes to come out. I kind of just do it when I have the time, or if I have something to talk about, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Right now, it is actually the 1st of April. So, happy April Fools. Now, trust me, I'm sure there are like plenty of you guys who just heard me say that and were like fucking flinching and like tightening your buttholes and like, oh, is this gonna be just a straight hour of bullshit? Is this gonna be like an elaborate April Fool's joke? No, it's not. This just so happens to be on April Fool's. Don't worry, not everything on the internet has to follow the whole April Fool's thing, okay? This is recorded on April 1st, but that doesn't mean it's going to be an April Fool's joke, okay? It's just, I know me saying that doesn't have any such fucking, you know, power to it at all, and it's definitely not convincing in the slightest, but trust me when I say that this is just going to be a regular episode. So yeah, I mean, I've already, at the time you're listening to this, you probably have already seen my April Fool's video for this year on my YouTube. If not, go check it out. You'll know which one it is. Trust me. It's easily the longest video that I've ever uploaded onto my channel, and is usually and is of a length that I'm not expecting anybody to actually sit through the entire way. But if you did, then I fucking appreciate you. All right, I appreciate you with so much. Like you hear that clattering? That's me patting my heart out towards you guys. My necklace got in the way though, as you can hear. But yeah. So I've already done my whole April Fool's joke for this month, so or for this year rather, and it's all on my YouTube. So there you go. I'm not doing any more elaborate April Fool's jokes because it gets old after a while. Honestly, like even the video that I uploaded for April Fool's this year, I wasn't planning to get up on April Fool's. I was actually planning to get it out sometime in March, but at the last minute, right before, like a few days before I started to record it, I just decided, you know what, this would be an elaborate April Fool's joke. This is a video that people have been wanting me to do, you know, mostly because I signed up myself to do it. And yeah, this will be kind of like cool to do as an April Fool's joke. So there you go. It's an April Fool's joke. If you watch until the end of the video, you'll understand it's an April Fool's joke. But you know, you kind of have to have watched the whole video to get the joke behind it. But anyway, so that's how I've celebrated April Fool's. I mean, by the time I'm recording this, it hasn't come out yet on my channel because, you know, time zones are a weird thing where if I were to upload today, which is April 1st for me, for everybody else in like America and even in, you know, some parts of Europe, it's still the 31st of March. And because YouTube is based in America, specifically LA, when you upload here in like Japan on, say, you know, the 1st of April, for example, if you actually look on the page of the video, it says it was uploaded on March the 31st. So in order for the 1st of April, you know, publish on the 1st of April thing to pop up on my April Fool's video, I have to actually upload it on the 2nd of April in Japan. And so, you know, you run into the problem, and you probably see it with every single April Fool's video. There are the smartasses over in, you know, Japan and, you know, Southeast Asia and Australia and New Zealand and, you know, even some parts of the Middle East who say like, it's actually the 2nd of April here, so, nice try, buddy. Those, honestly, if you're one of those people who comment that kind of stuff, fuck you. We hate those comments. Well, YouTubers hate seeing those comments. It's like, yeah, no shit. There is no time frame anywhere in the world where you can do something on the same day. That's not how the world works, okay? There is no time anywhere where it is the same date everywhere in the world, okay? So it's It's either going to work for the majority of the world or the minority of the world. And in the case, I want the majority of the world to see that it's an April Fool's video, hence why I upload it a day after where I live. Anyway, weird rant that I just went on April Fools. It's my April Fool's dilemma that I've been holding on to for the longest time. But yeah, that's kind of how I've been doing it. But the cool thing right now, actually, about April 1st here, at least in Japan, or this particular April Fool's, is the fact that it's currently 4:30 in the afternoon right now on April the 1st, but earlier this morning, specifically 11:30 this morning here in Japan, so 5 hours ago, they announced the new Japanese year name. Now, if you have no idea what the fuck that means, because I'm sure there is a large majority of you who have no idea what that means, then let me explain. So, in Japan, we have two ways that we dictate the date, or specifically the year that we are currently in. We have the Western name, and we have the Japanese name. It's called Seireki for the Western name, and it's called Gengo for the Japanese way. And it's what's the English translation for it? It's the era name. That's right, it's the era name, not the year name. So obviously we're in the year 2019. The way that is, laid out, 2019, is the Western date, is the way that the West names the year. Here in Japan, though, we have this thing called the era, or the Gengo date. And that changes every time the emperor changes in the high parts of Japan. And this has been going on ever since the foundation of Japan. Every time the emperor has changed, we have changed the era name. So you've probably heard of the Edo period, or the Edo period, right? As it's properly pronounced. The Edo period, right? Edo is the name of the period, the date, right? And every time the emperor of that time changes, we change the name of the period. So after the Edo period, we had the Meiji period, and Meiji was the Gengo, the name of the era, and that was around the late 1800s. And then we had Taisho, which only went on for about 7 years. And these times as well, these eras, because they're so relevant on, how long the emperor was in power at that particular time, sometimes they're really fucking long, sometimes they're really goddamn short. For example, Showa, which was the period 2 periods ago, was 60 years long. That was the longest period we ever had. The Showa period was the longest period we ever had. It was 60 years. The latest period, Showa ended in 1988. That was when the emperor changed and the period changed. From 1988 till 2019, 2018 specifically, so 30 years, we were in a period called Heisei. That was the period name. And last year, the emperor decided to step down, or to change. And so, with that came the new period name. And 5 hours ago, they just announced the name of the new period that we are in. And the name of it is Reiwa. So we are in the first... So from today, from 5 hours ago, Japan is in the first year of Reiwa. Now, this whole period thing is really irrelevant outside of Japan. This is really only a Japan thing, and if you're super interested in Japanese history and Japanese culture and stuff like that, then that's all you need to know. And it's weird, as irrelevant as it is, because we also use the Seireki, which is the Western way, we say 2019 as well. It's actually quite, it seems irrelevant, right? Because we already say 2019, this whole period name or fucking whatever, seems irrelevant, right? But it's actually very relevant in Japan. For example, it's not uncommon if you ask a Japanese person, what year were you born? Instead of saying, I was born in, 1994 or 1967 or whatever, instead they'll say, third year of Showa, or 26th year of Heiwa, or Heisei rather. They'll actually say it in the period name. For example, I was born in 1994, which is the 6th year of Heisei. So when a Japanese person asks, what year were you born? I can answer it by saying 1994 nen, which is 1994, or I can say Heisei 6年, which is 6th year of Heisei. They both mean 1994. It's just one is said in the Western way and one is said in the very traditional Japanese way. So yeah, that was a little bit of trivia for you. And you know, Japan right now, the whole country is reacting to this new period change because, again, it happens so infrequently. I mean, the last one that happened was 30 years ago in 1988. I wasn't even alive for that, so technically speaking, this is a big moment in history for people like me who were born in the 90s, because this is the first time in our lives, in our living lives, that the period name has changed. Which is exciting. Like, it is exciting. Like, it doesn't really fucking mean anything, but, like, I don't know, it's just like a new refreshing way to look at the future. So yeah, that's some little trivia for you. So you can, you know, I'm sure there are things online where you can look up like different calendars of, you know, what era and what year was I born and that kind of stuff. If you were so for example, if you were born in 1994 like me, then you would be born in the 6th Heisei or 6th year of Heisei era. So if you were born in 1995, you're obviously born in the 7th Heisei era, and so on and so forth. So, for people who are born, for babies who are born from tomorrow, I believe, from tomorrow, they will be the first babies to be born in the first year of Reiwa, which is weird to think about, because for 30 years, Japanese people have been so used to calling it Heisei. So yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know if people really understand that or anything, but it's just a thing that I just wanted to talk about because it's very, very recent news. But I also found it hilariously ironic that they decided to change the period name on April 1st, on April Fool's Day. So I don't know. I was fully expecting it to be some like fucked up and weird era name, or like they were just like, JK, we're not changing the era, haha, April Fools. But Japan doesn't really have like a cultural thing where they celebrate or, you know, really get involved with April Fools all that much. It's mostly only the younger kids who are really invested in April Fools. It's not really like a thing, you know. But then again, you know, Japan is a country that takes Western ideas and holidays and celebrations and stuff like that and completely fucking butchers it because they see fit to, like Halloween, for example, or Christmas, for example. But, you know, that's expected from a country who was a closed country for 400 years, so yeah, has been an island country for over 2,000 years. So, you know, you can't expect them to understand the Western world in a blink of an eye. You know, they're different. You know, as much as the Japanese don't understand a lot about the Western world, a lot of Western people don't understand a lot about the Japanese world. Like, Japanese people don't get April Fools. Western people don't get era names. So it's just two opposites that I find super interesting, and, you know, I'm luckily in a privileged position where I can understand both those sides. So, you know, it's cool. It's cool if you care. But if you don't care, then it's just like a piece of trivia that's like, oh, okay, fucking whatever. You say that to someone who doesn't care, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. It's still fucking 2019 to me. Which is what some of you are probably thinking right now, and I'm right there with you, buddy. I'm totally right there with you. It is still fucking 2019, and I don't know why we still do this outdated thing of calling era names, but, I mean, Japan is a country that fucking is, you know, sucking on the tit of tradition, and, you know, never wants to let go of it no matter what, so it has its benefits and it has its demerits, so, you know, we just have to learn to live with that balance, I suppose. But, yeah, I'm just looking forward to, well, you know, and again, as I said, like, I'm looking forward to tomorrow for me, for all of the April Fool's videos to come out, because YouTube is just an absolute mine shaft of garbage content on April Fools. Like, so many YouTubers think that just because it's April Fools, they have the leeway to upload really fucking lazy content. Like, I don't know why, but me personally, I've always fucking hated April Fools because my sub feed just turns to garbage. Like, it's just full of videos that are just fucking lazy because you can easily just say, oh, April Fools, I decided to not put any effort into my content. Like, that's why, if you go back to all of my April Fools videos from the past, I put a lot of fucking effort into my April Fool's videos. If anything, some of the most time-consuming and thought-out projects that I have ever done on my YouTube channel have been my April Fool's videos. For example, this year's April Fool's video is fucking 10 hours long, which was hella time-consuming to do. And last year's one was what did I do last year? Oh yeah, I did the cover of I did like a song sung by Vegeta Review 69 called I Love Moe, which was my anime cover of My Way by Frank Sinatra. You know, like, writing lyrics for that and making it funny and everything, that took a long time to do. And I made, like, a proper, like, video out of it as well. And the year before that, I did the, what did I do the year before that? Did I do the top 10 anime of all time? Which is still my favorite video on my channel, mind you. You know, like, which took a fuck ton of time. Like, that was the time where I decided to really focus on more higher quality content, get rid of my gaming videos. But there are so many fucking YouTubers who go out and be like, oh, you know what I'm gonna do on April Fool's? I'm gonna do fucking nothing. You know what would be really funny? If we made an April Fool's video where I played a video game, but I just stayed silent the whole time. Hilarious. Like, no. Fucking, no. Like, what? That's not an excuse to upload garbage content. Like, yeah, it's a joke. You know, it's like, oh, the April Fool's joke is you came for content that is actually, you know, helpful and interesting and insightful, and yet you just came to a video where we're silently standing in front of the window for 10 minutes. Like, that's not funny. I'm sorry. I know comedy is subjective, but that's not fucking funny to me. Like, that's just, like, as a content creator, and as much as I fucking hate using that word to describe myself, but I have to, as a content creator, I just get fucking annoyed about that, because it's like, why would you do that? No one finds this funny. Like, are you doing it for the memes? Like, is that what it is? Then at least make it memeable. You sitting in front, like, that's why so many fucking April Fool's videos I've found have, like, a lot larger amount of dislikes than most of that one YouTuber's videos. Because, again, so many people on April Fool's get clickbaited, and I mean, like, legitimately clickbaited. I don't just mean, like, a provocative title and thumbnail, or, like, a you know, an interesting and vague title and thumbnail, because I don't count that as clickbait, alright? Because, like, clickbait, to me, I'll get on the topic of clickbait later. We'll just make that a topic. But what I don't get is, like, content creators who think, like, oh, I'm gonna call this video, you know, for example, I can't think of an example, but, like, I can't think of an example without calling any YouTubers out, but you've probably seen it before. Like, you probably saw it on April Fool's this year as well, like, because it's, you know, already past April Fool's by the time you're listening to this, but, like, there are so many people who, like, say, like, oh yeah, this is just a normal-ass video, or this is just a fucking whatever, and it's just lazy. It's fucking lazy. And you know people are gonna watch it, and because it's clickbaited as shit. It's clickbaity as shit. And, like, legitimately clickbaited. Not just, again, not just, like, a title and thumbnail that looks interesting, but, like, you actually get clickbaited into thinking you're gonna watch something cool, and it's just totally lazy and fucking boring. And I hate that. I personally fucking hate that. So please, if you are a content creator, or you're thinking about, you know, being a content creator and thinking about your next April Fool's video, then please do it. You know, think about quality. Actually give good content to people, not just making them click a video and then realize it's nothing and making them waste their time. Like, that's not a fucking April Fool's joke. That's boring as hell. Like, that's the equivalent to, you know, me going knock knock and you saying who's there, and then me not saying anything for 10 minutes. That like, is that funny to you? No, it's not. It's a shit joke. Don't make shit jokes of a video, please. Make a good joke. Make it funny. Make it at least memeable. Anyway, before I get onto the whole clickbait topic, let's do some questions from the Discord. I asked you guys over on my Discord, mostly the King Taku and God Taku room questions and answers, because you guys get first dibs on asking questions. Any questions you want to ask me for the podcast? So, and if I don't find any questions on that, then I also look just regularly on the Patreon chat. So let's go through here and look at some questions. First question is from Juanwara, who says, what are some very random things that you absolutely hate? Like toe stubbing and running into corners and stepping on Legos. So you're talking about like pet peeves, right? Well, I don't know if toe stubbing and stepping on Legos is a pet peeve. I don't know anybody who likes stubbing their toe or likes stepping on Legos. If that's the case, then they're fucking weird. But pet peeves. I'm not like really a pet peeves person, but I mean everybody has at least one pet peeve. So I must say, if I were to answer the question, do I have a pet peeve? I would say, and I don't remember if I've said this in a past, like, Answer Me Senpai or anything. I probably have. But my pet peeve is people who wear shirts of bands and artists that they are not fans of. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm talking about those, like, really fucking pretentious high school guys and girls who want to, like, you know, want people to think they're like a hipster by wearing a fucking Kurt Cobain shirt, but their favorite song is by Nirvana is like fucking Smells Like Teen Spirit. Like those kinds of people, and we all know of at least one person in our high school lives that was like that, and most likely you weren't friends with them, you just fucking saw her from a distance. Like I remember this one chick who, I went to an all boys school, mind you. I went to an all boys school, but down the road from where my school was our sister school, so like an all girls school who was like part of the same group of schools, right? And we used to go down to the girls' school a lot as well, you know, for like joint classes or whatever. Like in my case, I used to be in like a big jazz band, and we used to go down to the sister school to borrow their like setup and everything because it was much better than what we had at the boys' school. And because of that, you know, I met a lot of like girls at the girls' school, right? So I saw people who were fucking like, I saw this chick who was wearing a Kurt Cobain shirt. Like literally the example I just gave. She was wearing a Kurt Cobain shirt, but it was like a really unique and cool looking Kurt Cobain shirt. It was like a picture of his face, but it kind of had like glitch effects on it. And I'd never seen a Kurt Cobain shirt like that before, right? It's usually like, you know, the cover of the Nevermind album or just like a picture of his face just normally just kind of fucking photoshopped and plastered onto the shirt, right? But this one was like a Kurt Cobain design that looked legit. It looked like actually well thought out, and from a distance it looked super fucking cool. And the girl wearing it was also really cute. So I thought like, oh, you know, that's cool. She's cute and she's wearing this like sick Nirvana shirt, or at least sick Kurt Cobain shirt. Well, hence she's probably into Nirvana. And I was like super into Nirvana as well, like back in high school especially. And I mean like, and I don't just mean like, you know, I know Smells Like Teen Spirit. Like I fucking listen to all their shit. Like the MTV Unplugged album by Kurt Cobain is my favorite Nirvana work. And true Nirvana fans, you'll understand. But anyway, I went up to her and I said, oh, that's a cool fucking shirt. And she's like, oh, thanks. And I'm like, what's your and I said jokingly, I said, what's your favorite Nirvana song? And don't say it Smells Like Teen Spirit. And she said, who's Nirvana? Who's Nirvana? Like, what? What? Are you, like, I would have been less mad if she had said, oh, my favorite song is Smells Like Teen Spirit. I would have been less mad and less pissed off if she had said that. But she didn't even know the guy on the shirt. She didn't know who it was. She just thought it was just some, like, hot guy with, like, a glitch mark. And, like, I'm like, did you just clickbait me with your shirt? Like, I came in thinking you knew Kurt Cobain because you had a really unique Kurt Cobain shirt that I'd never seen before. And you just completely were oblivious to the fact that this was Kurt Cobain and he was part of a band called Nirvana. A band, mind you, she has probably fucking heard of before, or has at least heard of Smells Like Teen Spirit. She just doesn't know the band who did that song. So, yeah. And it's not just that, mind you. That's just one example I remember. I remember another fucking guy who was wearing a Ramones shirt and he didn't know who the Ramones were. So, I wanted to slap that guy, that's for sure. And it's always those, like, those old-time bands as well that these fucking kids tend to wear. These fucking kids who don't know who the artists are, right? Like, it's never like a fucking Miley Cyrus shirt or a fucking, I don't know, Owl City shirt, right? I mean, who the fuck would want an Owl City shirt? They're a shit band, but you get my point, right? Like, it's always like the kind of old schooler, like bands like Nirvana and Led Zeppelin and, you know, fucking Ramones and Sex Pistols, and it's like the bands from the past who were really popular but no younger generation would ever be exposed to unless they were introduced by their parents, aka me, right? Like, it's always that. They think like, oh man, I want people to think that I'm cultured in music, so I'm gonna wear this fucking shirt from, you know, the Ramones, or, you know, I saw a guy with like a Hawkwind shirt, and I got really fucking excited because I'm like, I love Hawkwind, they're a fucking amazing band, and the guy didn't know who Hawkwind was. I'm like, fucking, then don't wear the shirt. You're disrespecting people who actually are into the band or who are into the artist, and you're essentially clickbaiting them and making them look stupid in thinking that you know who this, like, band is, who you think you know who this artist is, or you, like, listen to their music. Like, don't do that. Like, I've always said, be true to what you're really into. Like, if you only listen to shit on the radio, flaunt that shit, bro. Like, don't pretend like you're some fucking cultured person, or, you know, what your standard of cultured person is when it comes to music. Don't pretend you're this thing that you're clearly not, because you're gonna get called out on it. You're going to get called out. It's like those same fuckers who say like, oh yeah, I'm a big anime fan, dude. I love anime, but they've only fucking seen like Tokyo Ghoul and Attack on Titan. Like, don't fib yourself, all right? Don't kid yourself. If you've only seen a few, then don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to people about it, because they're gonna call you out, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just what you're into. Right? If you like fucking country music and everybody else around you says that country music sucks, you don't have to pretend to dislike it. Like, fuck them. Right? Like, if people say like, oh, your favorite anime fucking sucks, then fucking whatever. Like, dude, yesterday, I met a guy in Ikebukuro, fucking lovely Australian, I'm pretty sure it was Australian, fucking lovely Australian dude in Sunshine City, and if you're listening to this, you know who you exactly are, right? He had, like, him and his friend, there was three guys. Two of them had like just sleeve tattoos all over. And the guy who stopped me, I was looking at their tattoos and I'm like, oh, those are some cool fucking tattoos, bro. And the guy was like, oh yeah, but you might not like this one. And he pulled like his sleeve up and there was a big like dual sword, like Kirito Sword Art Online tattoo. And I just straight up said to the guy, I'm like, dude, I don't fucking care. If you're into it, then that's fucking cool, dude. Like, I'm not gonna chop your arm off because you have a tattoo of a series I don't like personally. Like, I don't fucking care, dude. If you're into it, then who cares? It's what makes you happy, bro. Like, whatever. I'm sure if I ever got a fucking tattoo of, you know, Oyasumi Punpun or Berserk, which are like two anime tattoos that I am thinking to get in, you know, eventually in my life. And if someone comes up to me and they see that I have a Berserk or Oyasumi Punpun thing and they don't like either of those series, then they're probably going to say the same thing to me. Except, you know, unless they're fucking dickheads, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I just, I don't know. But that's just a pet peeve of mine. That's a pet peeve of mine. So please, you know, because I meet a lot of people at conventions as well, right? If you have a fucking Sword Art Online shirt on, I don't care. If you have a Fairy Tail shirt, if you have any shirt of a series that I have said on record that I do not like, and you come up to me with said shirt at a convention, I don't fucking care, dude. That's what you're into. I may not like it, but you like it. Fucking everyone's happy, bro. I don't care. I'm not gonna, like, decline your... I'm not gonna not give you a signature or a photo or a hug just because you're wearing a shirt of a band that you don't listen to, or because you're wearing a shirt of an anime that I'm not into. Like, I don't fucking care, dude. But just, like, I think what's worse than wearing a shirt of a band or an anime or anything of something that I personally don't like but you like is when it's the opposite. You wearing a shirt of a band or an anime that I like, but you have no fucking idea what it is, just so that you can slide into, you know, my inner heart and tickle it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would be more pissed off if you came up to me at a convention wearing a Berserk shirt, but you had never read Berserk. Or you wearing a shirt of Kurt Cobain, but you had never heard of Nirvana. More than if you had worn a shirt of Sword Art Online or Fairy Tail and you genuinely liking Sword Art Online or Fairy Tail. Like, I much prefer that. I much prefer people who are honest with their passions and what they enjoy. Right? And, you know, fucking, that's how it goes. Now that I've said that, I guarantee there's going to be a fuck ton of people who come to the next convention I'm at, which is most likely Anime Expos of the recording of this video. There's probably going to be a fuck ton of people at Anime Expo who are purposely going to come in Fairy Tail and Sword Art Online shirts. just to see if they can get a reaction out of me. But I'm sorry, you're not going to get a reaction out of me. Because I don't care. I really don't care. If that's what you're into, then that's what you're fucking into, bro. Anyway, that was a really long answer to a short question. Let's move on. Ulysses says, are there any habits that Japanese people can't stand, e.g. popping your knuckles? I've never heard of Japanese people not being okay with popping their knuckles. You mean like that, right? I just did it then. I don't know if the mic picked it up, but I don't think... No. I mean, there are some things that Japanese people don't like, but I feel that's just, like, unanimous to society, like, or the world, rather. Like, Japanese people don't like rude people, or overly loud people, disrespectful people. You know, I think that's kind of the... I'm going to turn my phone off. I think that's kind of the same all around, you know? I doubt that... I doubted that it's fucking, like, specific. I mean, there are some, like, smaller societal rules in Japanese culture that a lot of Western people tend to not wrap their heads around. Like, you know, you're not allowed to talk on the phone on the train. You're not allowed to sit down on the floor on the train. There's a lot of rules on the train for some reason. You know, you're not allowed to... you know, it's kind of seen as a bad thing if you are very loud in quiet places. But then again, it's just the rules, you know, like, I don't think a lot of Japanese cultural stuff is very rule binding, you know, it's all about the rules. And if you're not following said rules, then you're kind of frowned upon. But then again, I think that's just, like, unanimous to the entire world. I don't think there is a single country out there that is okay with people who don't follow the rules of their country, you know? So, just, like, if you're asking that because you're worried about you accidentally offending a Japanese person or whatever, then just research some cultural rules about Japan before coming to Japan, and as long as you follow them, dude, and you're respectful to people and the culture that you're in, you're not going to run into any problems. You very rarely run into any problems. So, there's that. Next question. Shurim says, is there going to be a topic for this podcast, or is it an open one? It's an open one. Unless I say so. Like, the last one I mentioned, like, you know, music-related questions specifically, because I was talking about, you know, lo-fi. But if I don't specify on the Discord otherwise, then it's just open questions. Banana Nice, or Twin Tails, says, would you consider doing a collaboration with the Needle Drop in reviewing an album? I think that'd be cool. Yeah? I don't know. I like watching Anthony's videos. Needle Drop, Anthony Fantano. I do like watching his videos. I've been watching him for a while, but weirdly enough, I very rarely agree with his opinions on albums. I think that's the case with the majority of his fan base. I don't think people watch his videos to kind of, like, just nod in agreement about, you know, said review and what he thinks about an album. I think, like, very rarely have I ever watched a review of an album that I also listened to and thought the exact same thing about. You know, it's very rare. The only one I can think of is maybe, like, Haru Nemuri's Haruto Shura album, which him and I both fucking loved. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like him and I just listen to different types of music, and so I feel, to me, Anthony's one of those YouTubers who I really admire, but from a distance, I feel. Like, I just respect him as a music reviewer, and I just love the charisma that he brings to the table. And I don't really see him as, like, a content creator where I'm like, man, I really want to collab with him. Like, there are a number of creators like that, you know, like, fucking Angry Video Game Nerd I've been watching since back in the Cinemassacre days. I've never thought about collabing with him, though, because, like, what can I do? You know, I'm not really known for playing games in the same way that I'm not really known for reviewing albums, even though I have a dead reviewing, you know, series on my second channel, which I haven't done in months, which is obviously inspired very heavily by music reviewers like Anthony Fantano. But no, I don't know. Would I consider doing a collab with him though? No, not really. I kind of just like, again, because I don't think we can agree on a lot of things. And he just, I don't know. He's just like, I don't really intend to be friends with the guy. I don't even follow him on social media. I just like every now and then like to watch his videos. So yeah, there you go. The Silence of Hell says, would you be willing to do an OG Dororo session for a stream or two? OG as in like the old 1969 series, right? From like 50 years ago. As long as the episodes exist online somewhere, then sure. But I doubt any... I mean, it'd be cool. I mean, I had to watch the first couple of episodes of the 1969 version for my video when I was researching my, you know, my take on the Dororo anime that came out last season. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't think the majority of my viewers would really care about any of that kind of stuff. Like, they're not really going to care about a series from 50 years ago, you know? It's just, it doesn't really seem like their thing. So, probably not. I would like to kind of go back and watch old anime, though, but I feel like I need to have been caught up on the majority of the newer stuff first, because there is so much stuff, especially from the past 5-10 years or so, that I still haven't watched yet. So, yeah. I will try, though. I will try. I must say, though, having started doing those anime streams, they've been very popular. I mean, the one I just finished today was the first four episodes of Kaguya-sama wa Kokurasetai, or Kaguya-sama Love is War. We had like 800 people in that stream at one point, which I very rarely get in gaming streams, or even IRL streams. So, obviously, people really enjoy it. You know, and Twitch is okay with it. I've asked Twitch staff if it was okay, and they were like, yeah, technically, it's fine. There are no specific rules against anything like that, so you can do it. So I definitely plan to do that, because it's also a fantastic excuse for me to actually watch anime, because I haven't been doing it very often, especially in these past year or so. So, yeah, I guess that's just how it is. But I would like to... once, if there is like an older series that I really, really want to watch, whether it be for a video or something, rather than doing it on stream, I think I'd just do it on my own. Yeah, I think that's just what I'm gonna do. Anyway, those are all the questions for now. Thank you. If you are a patron, then you can use the hashtag HTT, Hokago Talk Time, on the Discord, in the Patreon chat, or if you're a King Taku and a God Taku, you can put it in the questions and answers room. Use that hashtag HTT if you want to drop a question for the next episode. But, to end the episode, I'm going to be going to go back to the first topic, the April Fool's thing, and talk about clickbait. Now, a while ago, I made a video about clickbait on YouTube, because it is it's a thing that I feel has changed a lot in the past 10 years that YouTube has been going on, and it's even changed a lot in the past 6 years that I've been doing YouTube. I started in 2013, and the landscape of not just Anitube but YouTube in general has greatly shifted, for better or worse. I tweeted the other day something which was like a joke that I was just kind of thinking up of and kind of self-reflecting on, where it's like the landscape of your favorite YouTuber getting sponsored. And the joke was like, your favorite YouTuber getting sponsored. 5 years ago, you would have said, oh man, look at these fucking sellouts. I trusted them and their integrity, unsub. And nowadays, those same people will look at that same YouTuber with that big sponsor and be like, hell yeah, dude, you don't need that YouTube ad. You're independent. You're a superstar now. You finally got the recognition you deserve. You go, girl. And that, to me, is so telling of how much YouTube has changed and how much the whole concept of YouTubers as an occupation has shifted in society. Like, in Japan, for example, 3 years ago, if you said that your occupation was a YouTuber, people would have just been like, what the fuck is that? Even in the West, right? If you had said, I'm a YouTuber. Like, when I first started, there was no one who was saying, I'm a YouTuber. And people taking them seriously, they're like, what the fuck's that? But nowadays, you can say, I'm a YouTuber. And unless they're like a fucking 90-year-old grandma who's never touched the internet in their entire life, no offense, 90-year-old grandmas, I'm sure there are plenty who still watch YouTube. Who, you know, like, if you're not those people who have never fucking heard of the internet at all, or never interact with TV or anything like that, then they'll know what a YouTuber is. Even if they don't watch YouTubers, they still know what it is, right? It's like, you know, people know what a fucking astronaut is, but they've never been to space. It's kind of like that. I'm not saying, like, YouTubers and astronauts are the same level of occupation. Like, God, no, fucking. I mean, if someone came up to me tomorrow and said, would you like to be an astronaut for the rest of your life? I would gladly throw away being a YouTuber. I'm just saying. But that's not gonna fucking happen, so don't worry, I'll be here for a little while longer. But the whole culture of YouTube has changed so much, not just in terms of things like sponsorships, but also for clickbait. This whole idea of what clickbait is. And, you know, the old definition of clickbait, the whole thing of where the term and... Oh, sorry, I just can't stop yawning right now, I'm very tired. The whole term of, you know, where the word clickbait came from in terms of YouTubers was, you know, back when the YouTube monetization system was still rolling in the, you know, mid to late 2000s, or not mid to late, early 2000s, late O's, was people who were, say for example, uploading videos titled "Hot Girl Does It With Her Stepdad," and it was just like a censored thumbnail of a screenshot from porn, and then when you go onto it, it's just like a 10-minute video of someone, you know, trying to advertise their fucking website. Alright, like, it was that shit. Like, that shit existed, and if you've been around YouTube, you know, long enough, you'll remember a time where videos like that were fucking everywhere. And that's when the first algorithm shift happened. That's when YouTube started to utilize watch time rather than views to get money. In turn, that's what brought the revolution of the gaming YouTuber, and that's what brought the final nail in the coffin for animators. Which is a big shame, because back then, animators were reigning supreme on the internet thanks to websites like Newgrounds. Good old days of Newgrounds. I'm fucking shocked that Newgrounds is still a thing, by the way. I mean, God. I might go onto Newgrounds after this. I want to see what's up. What's going on there. Anyway. So, that's what happened. And in turn, with this algorithm change is, I feel, what caused the whole concept of clickbait to change as well. It went from, how can I... It went from clickbait, the concept of the word clickbait, or at least what the general YouTube user public decided to label clickbait as. It changed from a video that maliciously lies about the contents of a video to give you something completely different, and slowly changed it to a video that is leading to, you know, suggests one thing, but is actually something completely different. Now, that might sound like the same to some of you guys, but there is a fundamentally huge difference between those two types of clickbait. And the difference is the amount of content in the videos. Because, for example, right, I don't understand people who, for example, click on a video called, let's think of any video of mine, right? Click on a video called, The Promised Neverland is an amazing anime, but ... I got a lot of people saying that was a clickbait title. And I'd have to disagree. Because I'm not clickbaiting you into that. That the title and thumbnail clearly tells you what the video is going to be about. It's going to be about The Promised Neverland. You get 3 pieces of very big information from that supposed clickbait title, right? About the video. 1, it's about The Promised Neverland. 2, I think it's an amazing anime. And 3, I think it's an amazing anime, but it has problems. And just with those 3 pieces of major key points, you know what the video is going to be about. So what about that title is clickbait? What about it is clickbait? That's what I don't understand. Because there's a big difference between clickbait and a catchy title, a attention-grabbing title. Because the Promised Neverland example I gave of my video, The Promised Neverland is an amazing anime, but that's not a clickbait title as it is a catchy and attention-grabbing title. It's vague because it is catchy. Or it's catchy because it's vague, rather. The other way around. But the thing is that it's not me titling it that and then me talking about fucking One Piece for 10 minutes. That would be clickbait, right? Or, you know, me titling it that and it's just a vlog of me updating you on your life and then at the end saying, oh, by the way, Promised Neverland is an amazing anime. Right? Like, that's what a clickbait example would be. But it's not clickbait. Because the reason why we have to, and a lot of YouTubers have to title videos like that, is because otherwise no one's gonna watch the fucking video. And that's a really, really sad truth about the state of YouTube content in the, 2015 onwards. Is that because every type of content has been made, you have to make it vague enough, and you have to make it so catchy on the border of clickbait to get average amount of views. And it sucks. It fucking sucks. Like, trust me guys, if I could title that Promised Neverland something along the lines of, my problems with the Promised Neverland anime, something like that, or, like pointing out the problems of the Promised Neverland anime. A title that is really fucking obvious. If I could call it that and get the views that I want on that video, as much views as I got on that video, then I would call it that. I really don't want to call these videos by these vague and quote-unquote clickbaity titles if I don't have to. But the thing is though, the current state of YouTube makes creators title videos like that. And it's very, very rare for a channel to be able to title a video something really bland and boring and straight to the point and still get views. And that sucks. That fucking sucks, trust me. It blows. And, I'm not saying all YouTubers have to do that, but you've probably seen, if you've been around on YouTube, that the majority of content creators are starting to call their videos like that. And I think Philip DeFranco said it the best about this phenomenon that's happening on YouTube, when he says, if you want your kid, or you have to trick your kids into eating your vegetables. That's what he said. You have to trick your kids into eating your vegetables. And I think that's a fucking amazing quote that clearly reflects upon the current state of YouTube. You have to trick your kids into eating their vegetables. You have to trick your viewers into clicking your video. Otherwise, they're never going to do it. It sucks, dude. Trust me. It fucking sucks. I wish I didn't have to make these clickbaity and vague titles to grab your guys' attention. But in order for me to do that to the mass, I'm not saying that all of you who follow me I'm not trying to make all of you who follow me fall for that shit, because luckily there is a good chunk of you who will watch every single one of my videos regardless of what the contents of it are. But in order for me to get the attention of people who don't know who I am, who don't follow me or don't subscribe to me because they like me as a content creator and don't really care about the contents of my video, in order to get that newer group to pay attention to me, we have to do this. That's how we survive on YouTube. And it sucks. Again, it fucking sucks. Trust me. We hate it. But it's not clickbait. That's the thing. That's one thing we want everybody to understand. It is not clickbait. There's a big difference between a vague title and a clickbait title. As long as the contents of the video are fulfilling and satisfying and point back towards the vagueness of the title or the amount of information you can gain from the vagueness of the title, then it's not clickbait. You're not getting clickbaited into anything. So, I don't know if every YouTuber will agree with me on these points, and I don't know if any of you guys will agree with me on this point, because I feel this is one thing that if you're not a YouTuber, if you don't create content online for a living, you will most likely have a hard time understanding. But, you know, I have to at least try. I have to at least, to the minority that listen to this podcast every episode, I have to at least try and get that out there too. So hopefully you guys can listen and understand where I'm coming from. But yeah. So bottom line from all of that is, you know, it's not clickbait. Big difference between clickbait. I will never properly clickbait you guys. Never. Unless it's for a joke, I will never properly clickbait you guys. I'm fucking better than that. You know. Or at least I'll try and avoid it as much as possible. I won't do it for every single fucking video like some of my haters accuse me of doing. Oh, you see, all of his videos are clickbait. Like, no, they're fucking not, mate. You just don't like the content that I make, and that's fine. I don't expect everybody to like my content. If it's not up to your taste or standards, then go watch something else, dude. YouTube is just a never-ending cesspool of content that never stops getting deeper. So just dive in and see what you like. Don't just look at the surface and assume that it's going to be this shallow thing, you know. But yeah, so give content creators a bit of slack, you know, especially content creators who do that kind of stuff. We don't want to do it. I mean, I can't speak for the majority, but you know, I don't want to do it. My close friends don't want to do it. We just kind of have to. Like, it's weird, like, you know, me and a few of my friends actually, like, give each other ideas of titles that are catchy but not too clickbaity. Like, we actually give each other feedback on, like, that title's a little bit too clickbaity, or, oh, that title's not really vague enough, so it might not get people's attention. Like, we're trying to find that, like, beautiful middle point between boring and clickbait, and that middle point is vague enough to grab your attention, and that will interest you into clicking the video. Because that's how you get average views now on YouTube. But yeah, so give us a bit of slack. We're trying our best. We're trying our best. But just know that at least with me, you know, as vague and as quote unquote clickbaity as the content may get, I will never get lazy with my content. I will never make content that doesn't provide anything, like some people do on fucking April Fools. Yeah, so I really went off this episode, I'm sorry. I was just heated, that's all. It was fucking April Fools, and I tend to ignore YouTube on April Fools. I tend to not watch any videos on April Fools because it's just, my subfeed is just fucking filled with trash. I just go and read a book during April Fools, but anyway. So that's going to do it for this episode of Hokago Talk Time. Thank you once again for joining in, as always. If you're a patron, if you're not a patron listening to this, then don't, because I don't know how you're listening to this. Please support me on Patreon if you are. I'm always interested to hear your opinions on every single episode about what you thought about anything I said, what you want me to talk about in the next episodes. Best place to do it is over on Patreon. Every time I talk to, or I put up an announcement on my Patreon about the next episode coming out. People tend to leave comments on there, so that's a good place to leave your opinions and suggestions for the next episode. Any topics you want me to cover, any of that kind of stuff. But you can also do it over on Twitter. You can do it over on my Discord as well. And again, as I said, if you want to ask any questions, leave it on the Discord. But yeah, guys. Hope you guys have I don't know if it's weird to say, hope you guys have a lovely April Fool's. Or, hope you guys had a lovely April Fool's. I don't know what the definition of a lovely April Fool's is, but, hopefully you didn't get fucked over too hard by any shitty jokes and shitty April Fool's videos. Hopefully you guys liked my April Fool's video. Again, I haven't uploaded it yet, so I don't know if people are gonna fucking hate the video, or they're going to really like the video just for the whole meme status of it. But, only one way to find out, I guess. But, trust me when I say that next April Fool's video is gonna be just as wholesome as the last. I'm never gonna provide you guys with shitty content. I'm never gonna provide you guys with nothing. Because that's just, as a content creator, that's just that's just disrespectful to content creators who actually put effort into their videos. Anyways, enough rambling, because I've done enough of that. I've already done close to an hour of that. So I'm going to leave it there. Again, guys, thank you once again for listening in to another episode. Love you, love you, love you. And I will see you guys next episode.